So we've done our list now. We've done our top 10.
Yeah.
We've got to have mentioned some other ones. Honourable mentions.
I think it's because I don't know if people are shouting in the comments or just going to shout at us, say, you missed my favourite Christmas movie, where is it? Well, there were so many, it's hard to do 10.
Yeah.
So we
Especially with the fact that we had to do bad movies as well.
Yeah, we had to make a rule.
If I was doing my list, I would have put some of these honourable mentions in the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
The first one I've got to talk about is White Christmas, because White Christmas is so ridiculously Christmassy.
Yes.
And it's important for me because I always watch it with my other half, Sophie.
Yeah.
And she loves it, and she kind of got me into it more because I was aware of it, but it's not something I watched every year because it's quite an old movie.
Oh, it's an oldie.
Really old. But Bing Crosby in that is just so magical.
He is literally the magical person, and plus everyone knows the song White Christmas now.
Yeah.
It's because of that movie, and you know, even though I don't watch the movie very often, that song is always played in my house. I remember Granddad, before he got arthritis, used to play that song on the piano when the whole family gathering around. That's the most Christmas image, the Chappelle family. You know, basically my mum and everyone else is gathered around the piano singing White Christmas. Just as cheesy as you can imagine it. And that movie is that down to pinnacle T.
He's got some really cool lines. Like Bing Crosby, this is the point where he was really cool.
Yeah.
And he's got some lines like, for example, there's one bit where he's reading a letter. He's saying to the other guy, who's saying like, you're struggling to read it there, and he grabs it and says, I know what you mean, I'm playing trombone myself these days. And he's just like says a funny kind of comment, and it's just very
smooth,
smooth and hilarious. And also when later on, when he tells one of the characters to pick up a glass of milk, he goes, grab the cow.
Grab the cow. It's smooth.
It's just such a good line. It's like so cool.
It's got class.
Yeah.
It's a movie got class, and it's also quite deep. It's got a lot of layers to it, but it's a classic. It's in the same realm as like It's a Wonderful Life. It's that kind of thing.
And it's for me as well the look of it, because it's got that Technicolor look where they painted the film stock.
Yeah.
It's got that thing where like Bing's eyes are like bright blue.
Yes.
And like it's just everything looks so magical because of the style of it. Like that whole old-fashioned way of colour filmmaking is just ridiculously like impressive.
Oh, very much.
Colorizing the film, you know, like frame by frame kind of thing.
It just makes the whole thing it adds more to the fantasy of it, that little extra Christmassiness by having all those incredibly bright colours.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, you want to see crazy? I'll tell you.
There is another action movie with Christmas in it, and that's Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like think of this as Christmassy. It's in the same ballpark as Die Hard.
It's the same thing.
It should be. If Die Hard is considered a Christmas movie, so should Lethal Weapon, really.
Yes.
It starts with bleak Jingle Bell Rock, for God's sake.
It does.
That is the best like buddy cop chemistry in a movie.
To the point it's been trying to be mimicked ever since.
Yeah, and people forget that it was established really properly in the mainstream with this movie, with Lethal Weapon. So
yeah, I mean Mel Gibson in it. I mean, with the most amazing mullet, the action mullet. He's got the action mullet, and he's going in there, going crazy. I love in the first scene where he's going up, he's trying to talk down a suicide jumper. I said, "You want to jump? Yeah, come on, let's do it now!" And just goes and just about to jump him off with him.
Yeah.
It's such that manicness. He was so into it.
But Gremlins, I can watch that any time of year.
Yeah.
It's not overly Christmassy for me, even though it is set at Christmas and it's snowy and stuff like that. It's weird because you might say that, well, the same with Lethal Weapon and Die Hard, but for some reason I think because it's got the monster thing going on, the little monster thing going on, I see it as like a little horror monster movie.
Yeah, it feels less festive that way because it's more focusing on like the little monster creatures and you know, and Gizmo and it's all that kind of thing. It's all about the Gremlins. It's not about the Christmas feel. In fact, you forget about it's a Christmas movie until about a little bit into it.
Yeah, and there's that. I've got to talk about in Gremlins though. It's that weird dark bit. Remember that dark bit where she, what's her name? The girl in it. Can't remember her name, but she basically says that her dad died.
Oh my god, yeah!
But as Santa Claus, that's why she doesn't like Christmas.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
He fell down the chimney or something.
Something like that. That's dark.
That's why she hates Christmas, because her dad was dressed up as Santa and died. And it's like, I think, to be honest, that is left in the original dark script, because like it's a residue of the original dark script, because the original script was a horror movie, not a comedy horror.
Yeah.
And it was a lot scarier, and perhaps that's just a bit that remained in, because tonally that would have worked in a horror movie to have that horror.
Still pretty much dark though.
But-
Like, very dark. But Krampus, it's like, yeah, it is totally about Christmas, but just the other way around. And it's turned into a dark yet funny-ish kind of horror movie with really awesome practical effects and the makeup and everything else is just top notch. So it's also just a genuinely good horror movie, let alone a movie about Christmas.
Yeah, definitely.
Come back! Come back! The bell rang! But what are you gonna do? I don't know, the bell rang! Yeah.
For me, A Christmas Story is not a movie I see often. I think for me, A Christmas Story feels more like an American tradition to me.
Yeah, it's a movie that I only started watching that at Christmas sort of maybe like 2 years ago.
Really?
It's only recently
It's a fresh one.
I've only really started watching it, and I really like it actually, and it's one that I will continue to watch now each year, and I like it for the fact that it's like what Jingle All the Way is doing. Obviously that did it first, A Christmas Story, where you got this kid and he really wants this particular toy for Christmas.
It's not a toy, innit? It's
he'll do. Well,
gun.
Back in the day, kids could have air rifles apparently, but actually they do acknowledge the fact that it's dangerous in the movie.
Can I try it out, Ma? Can I?
Okay, but outside. Oh, I still say those things are dangerous.
Of course it is.
But it's like he still really wants it, and he'll go great lengths to get it, and it's also what I love about it is the fact that the little kid in it is kind of like a Macaulay Culkin type kid, and it's obviously where they got the idea for that type of character for Home Alone as well. He's very, very sort of like a cheeky kind of charismatic kid that's kind of like delivering a really sort of complicated performance for a child really well.
Ding dong, verily the sky is really singing.
Some TV stuff now.
Okay.
So I watch Men Behaving Badly's Christmas special with Sophie, my other half. I watch that every year, and it's just funny every time.
Hello?
There's just some really, really funny moments in that.
Well, Men Behaving Badly was always funny.
Yeah.
So just add Christmas to it. Of course you're going to make it funny.
But I think the highlight for me is probably the bit where he's making the dinner.
Yeah.
Doing it very badly, obviously.
Of course he does.
And he's he's got the stuff in the mixer.
Yep, saw the Queen. How's Dad?
What's so great about the scene is Martin Clunes doesn't appear shocked. Where he knows it's going to happen. He knows that this is going to shoot in his face, and he just doesn't. He doesn't react because he's drunk at the time. He's meant to be drunk. He just hits him in the face. He's not reacting, and he's just still on the phone and just continues the conversation with it all over his face.
That's what Men Behaving Badly did really well. That kind of sense of just random slapstick. Anything goes. Something will happen.
Yeah.
Just wait for it. It's kind of like literally the kind of humor where they'll throw something at you and see what sticks, and they do it fairly often on that show.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a lot of like random slapstick, loads of shouting, and loads of random stuff like that. It just works really well.
We also watched the Vicar of Dibley Christmas special as well.
Yes,
Where she
I
eats-
love all those.
Where she has to eat all the dinners because she's so nice. She
Yeah.
like gets invited to all these dinners and she just can't say no, so she has to just eat all the Christmas dinners.
And she just feels so big at that point. I remember that.
I think perhaps I could manage a couple more after all.
Right, so another one I used to watch a lot as a kid, and I'm going to as an honourable mention because some people are going to kill me if I don't, is The Grinch.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about the Jim Carrey monstrosity, live action monstrosity, whatever it is. I never liked it. It just felt just weird. It's just Jim Carrey in a fursuit. I'm not interested. But or the new one. There's a new, more animated CGI version. I'm talking about the original cartoon with the voiceover and everything else. And it's basically the voiceover reciting the lines from the book and saying, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." I love that tone.
You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sin.
Right, so that's it. So have you got any, have we not mentioned anything? Have we not mentioned your favourite Christmas movie? Let us know in the comments. So thanks for watching the Enigmatic Christmas Countdown. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more from us and be notified of more content, hit that subscribe and the notification bell. Merry Christmas!
Ding dong.